Ooh, Sanmanan. Um, from your Kundikand. I was actually thinking how I can deliver this video without sounding too negative. It's not a negative video, but it sounds like I'm hating. It sounds like I'm hating, but it's there to just reassure and to try and relieve a bit of anxiety. Okay, guys, we're out there competing. We're out there competing with entire families slash support structures. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Let's say you are a 25-year-old guy, so ukule madadeni eNyukhasela and you manage to get a good matric and wathola uNSFAS, wafika wazofunda eWits or UJ, whatever the case may be, graduated, and then you're out into the world. So now you've got your little one-bedroom flat, come my taxi to get to and from work, and you find yourself competing with 25-year-olds who have a two-bedroom flat, who are driving a Polo, whatever the case may be. And you feel that pressure, and you feel like you ain't doing shit, I'm saying that because I'm looking about things a little bit differently. So I one, reflect to my life, and I look at all the assistance that I have and the privileges that I have. Just a quick story. So I started my education journey at age 14. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about teaching. I started teaching at 14 years old. So my mother worked at Esikole esibizwa ngehlala nathi Matadeni 4. And one of the things that got me into the classroom was I was in grade 8. We were reading Romeo and Juliet, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember, because I went to a government school now, but at a government school, they were also reading Romeo and Juliet. And the one lady who was teaching English, she had said, Mlotshwa, ngicela ufundise iClass lam in exchange for, I think, wanting to really play it, whatever the case may be. With that being said, I remember I was nervous, I was anxious, but I got into the class and I read Romeo and Juliet. Why did she pick me? Because again, I went to a better school than those kids, better. My mother was senior management, so she had trust not just in my mother, but also in me. The way that I speak Isingisi, articulate all those little privileges that the kids that I was teaching at the time. I'm also a child, so I'm 13, I'm teaching kids that are 14, 15, some are even 16 in grade 8, and I'm teaching them. That privilege, I started teaching grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. By the time I got to matric, I was teaching other matrics maths. Lapi maths I fail, but I'm still teaching, and that's a privilege. And I continue with that. And if you look at post my graduation, when I started doing PGCE, the other kids were standing in class having to do their teaching practice for the first time. I had hours and hours, 100 plus hours, more, 200 plus hours standing in front of pupils and teaching. I had coaching experience, I had teaching experience, I taught English, maths, science, ecos, BUS, you name it, in a classroom environment with no other teaching supervision. That's the privilege that I had. So why do I have that privilege? Because my mom is a deputy principal, Elokshin. People don't understand that backing that you have. I had an experience where I had to go to a department, talk to different people, stakeholders. That's the experience that I have that other kids don't have. So again, you look at some of these people and you start a business. You're the first generation in your family to even think and consider starting a business. Uma wako wayisebenza emakishini, ubaba wako is disappeared, your siblings are all drunkards, and you want to start a business. Now you're competing against Upendugane, whose father has 5 trucks and 2 buses. Gubo banes Paza Tizen, or Gubo banes Stolo Tizen. The backing that Upendugane has, you don't have. Yet society compares you guys constantly. Ladies, I love you guys, and again, to sound a little bit negative, you guys are always comparing a 25-year-old guy who you don't know how hard his shit is to a guy who the rent, his mom might be paying his rent, his car installment, his dad might be paying his car installment, and this 25-year-old who's trying to hustle and put it all together by himself is having to climb a mountain. Because sisters don't care whose car you're driving. It doesn't matter. It's not written on your forehead. So when you see these young guys driving these flashy cars, you don't know who it belongs to. So you assume it's his passenger seat, but for relax. I know guys their credit card that they're moving around with is paid off by their mom every single month. I know guys whose freaking kids' school fees are paid off by their parents every single month, and you're competing with those guys. I'm not mad. I'm not mad in the sense that I want to do the same for me, for my kids. I want to a situation where by the time my kids are finished graduating, they all have like their own 2-bedroom flats. They all have cars that are paid for. I also want them to be in a better situation than what I was in. What I'm trying to explain through this video is don't feel that pressure because you don't understand or don't even know what other guys are going through. You don't even know what they have backing them. I see at a gym, guys are juiced up, steroid. I know this because I speak to them behind closed doors. But again, when you're sitting and you're comparing and you're like, yo, man, I'm struggling, push a low 50, I'm seeing that. When about push up, a bump, show 100. And you're like, woof. But you don't know what is happening behind closed doors. There's so many things that you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You're applying for a tender, you're not getting it, you don't understand why you're not getting it. You've done all the processes, you've made sure, Uguti, you've spoken to this person, you set up the right meeting. The guy who gets it, you don't understand, Uguti, he's dead, and the person who releases tenders are best friends. They're absolutely best friends. Apply my tenders are be hundreds. Because the person who's releasing them, they have a connection. You don't know that. When usufundile ushange onazi uthi apply ungena umuntu ofuna unometric and you don't understand what is happening behind closed doors. And lapho society is constantly pinning us against each other. So again, just a bit of light. Guys, take a step back, calm down. Understand ukuthi impilo inzima. Understand ukuthi now as much as you have privileges, there's other people that have more privileges in certain spaces. So understand ukuthi yes, your father is not the coach of the team. So stop comparing you to that guy whose daddy is. You don't have the financial privileges. You don't. You don't come from a space where nanfunde Saint Banbani or Banbani College, or you don't have that. You don't have that. You don't have a dad who's there left a huge chunk of money for you. You don't have a mom who's an actual scientist or who's a medical doctor. You don't have that. We want boy, and for begedli, so calm down. As much as those spades are putting us under pressure, ace of spades, I must look after my nails and my hair and my but you look at relax us. My time will come. If it means good and give a single for now, sure. While gives build I understand that pressure. I understand that it makes you feel less than. I understand that pressure and puts you under so much fucking strain. I get it. Because ubiz buka machita pusha le car lena machita sephila lana machita phethi ibhodlela VSOP amnandi, but you also don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Because ungathola le bhodlela VSOP uphiwe nawe, ungathola ukuthi le bhodlela VSOP njoba ukhokhela nge-credit card kama wakhe, and no one is speaking about those things. Shall I pressure bona ugqoka uGucci kanti uyiboleka emjideni, yabona bona ugqoka uLouis Vuitton kanti small street. Awazi wena but ufake pressure and no sisters you anesiyeki phezu kwalokho. My ex used to did you see Nomfundo's boyfriend took him on a vacation. Awuyazi vacation tension. Relax guys, kunzinyana, but stop comparing yourself, because the moment you compare yourself, you need to know exactly what you're comparing yourself to. You need to know what their privileges are. You need to know what's backing behind them, because they might have an entire family financially strong. They might have an entire connection financially strong when we push you one, while you're still trying to network, while you're still trying to find your people, while at the same time while at the same time you're trying to manage your everyday. Irenti push it says installment is credit card lencanyana kade uyothenga izinto Mr Price nani sibheke wena, zonke izinto sibheke wena. So just learn to calm down. And if it happens that you partner work family pressure, hey, we need to get into a 2-bedroom, hey, we need to get this, hey, if you partner work family pressure, uyamchazela, mayinga understand, you're fine. Uyamchazela sisi njengamanje ngisala. Yes, I might be 35, but angaka into zami zakahlangana, and that's okay. Yes, I might be 40, but into zami zakahlangana, because again, 1 2 3 4 5, ngiyazama every day, ngiyavuka ngiyaphanda ngiyahlanganisa, but okwami, because I didn't start ahead like other people, because I didn't have the backing behind, mine might just take a little bit longer. So you need to be with the person who knows how to build with you, instead of putting you under pressure. Oh, we haven't gone out for lunch. Oh, we haven't gone out for dinner. Oh, when are we going to go do this? We're going to go do that. Have you seen us one band? They gym together. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry if it sounds a little bit negative. I wasn't trying to be negative. All I'm trying to do is just make you guys understand my steps in empilo. Abanye abantu bashaya ngama privileges onganawo. And Tanda, guys, have yourselves a fantastic day. Sharp.